Okay, we're back. Part 6. Here we go.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's common to leave it out.
Yeah.
When you guys break for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what about at night?
At night, we bring the cart in at night.
See, I would be painting the picture here of how it just sets up for disaster. So you're telling me it's common to leave it out. So it's insecure. Everybody has access. People are putting things on it, which means people are taking things off it because when they put their own stuff on it, they take it off. They're probably using it to hold their drinks, their lunch, maybe their ammo after they go shoot live ammo, maybe their own personal guns. Basically, you're telling me this cart is absolutely has no security and everyone has access to it and you have no control over what happens. Is that what you're telling me? Lock her down and quit soft shoeing and letting her give this feel-good story.
And where does it go?
It goes in the truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this day, there's obviously ammo on it when it was left out.
Yes.
Okay. All right. After lunch.
She's using the term ammo. See, that's not clear. There's ammo and guns on it or just ammo? There's ammo. When you say ammo, are you meaning blanks and dummies? Boxes of blanks and dummies? Loose rounds of blanks and dummies? Are there any live rounds or live boxes or guns? What? Lock her down.
Lunch. How many guns came back to set?
Okay. I'm pretty sure because we were getting into the nitty-grits of it. You know, we were about to start shooting indoors, and ultimately we weren't going to be seeing the horses outside, so I didn't bring the two.
She asked about how many guns and look at everything this girl's talking about. Horses, nitty-gritty, brought this, brought...
Shotgun. I brought one of the shotguns of wooden drums. And so here's the thing about that day. I was bickering with the stunt coordinator.
Oh, my God. I got a headache. I got to pee. People are talking to me. Their stakes. And now I'm bickering with a stunt coordinator. No wonder people were complaining that this woman is freaking worthless and useless. No wonder they think it was safe. Nobody cares. Nobody wanted to say anything. She's a woman, Rick. You know, we hired her because of what bathrooms used. We hired her because of her dad. And now we got to keep her. And nobody can correct her. Because if we correct her, we'll be called sexist. And we don't want to be called bad names. We'd rather let innocent women get killed. Let their child grow up whatever. We'd rather that, Rick, than to hurt someone's feeling and have standards. Wow.
All day because he wanted to shoot 2 pistols before every shot just to make smoke and everything in front of the camera. And I was like, no, that's just like extremely uncommon. And he's like, well, we did it on Dead for $1. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. But I brought a shotgun in case, like, you know, we could just do one big one if the director really wanted it. But we weren't planning on really doing it. It was just more of Joel, like, pushed for it. So we only brought the rust pistol, the drum pistol, and the wood pistol, and then also a shotgun.
Okay. And you guys pulled all 4 of those out at the same time?
Yeah.
Did anybody have to go back for anything?
I know that I think I brought him there, and then I immediately went to the bathroom after before we started getting in.
Oh, my gosh. She's going to the bathroom again? Jesus Christ. She's sitting in this interview for over an hour and hasn't gone to the bathroom. When she's on the set, she has to go every 10 minutes.
Stuff.
Okay.
So I brought them to the set, and then I immediately had to go pee.
Did you already give Dave the gun?
No. At this point, no one had asked for the guns yet, and they were just supposed to be on the cart.
Okay.
They were just supposed to be on the cart. Were they on the cart? Do you know? Did you leave them on the cart? When you came back, were they still on the cart? Jesus.
Did
In the
anybody
stock.
stay with Kurt?
I told Sarah and Nicole, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were they still there when?
Sarah was flirting with Jensen, and I don't really remember if Nicole was.
Oh, my God. What the fuck? What a freaking master plan to get someone killed. I mean, the incompetence of this set, just listening to this girl describe it. And I believe she's being honest about everything. I don't think she's making any of this shit up. I think she's being straight up on it. It is a cluster.
Nearby, but Sarah was pretty close to the cart still. Yeah.
Pretty close to the cart. Who thinks this crack, top-notch, finished #1 in the Academy female is going to ask, what's pretty close? Like 3 feet, 5 feet, 10? Who thinks that? Raise your hand if you think this top-notch investigator is going to ask that question.
All right. So 3 pistols, 1 shotgun. Nobody went back to the truck for anything.
I'm not entirely sure.
That's pretty much her whole statement. She's not entirely sure about anything. And she doesn't have to be sure because nobody's asking her questions to make in her statement what she's sure. It's okay not to be sure about everything, but I want to lock her down with things that she is sure about. And if she's not sure about anything, that to me proves she's very incompetent and she's possibly hiding something. Because she has to be sure about something. Does anybody know anything that she's sure about? Because in this entire interview of her, the first one and this second one, I have no idea what she's sure about. Other than she drinks when she gets off and she's got to pee a lot. I'm pretty sure on that.
I don't think I went back to the truck, and I don't think Sarah sent Nicole back to the truck. Like I said, I went to the bathroom, and I didn't really...
But no other guns were pulled out?
No.
Besides those 4?
I would have to ask this point. Okay, when you go to the bathroom, how long are we talking about? Are we talking about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? How long are you gone? I'm sure this will be asked by the crack investigator.
Shouldn't have been pulled out, no.
Okay. What time did you come back from lunch?
I'm not entirely sure. Usually our lunch...
Did you go to lunch? Are you sure about that? Oh, yeah, I know I went to lunch. Did you eat at lunch? Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, well, we know we got that.
Lunch goes from 12:30 to like 1:30-ish.
Okay. What time frame do you think there was between when you guys came back from lunch to you pulling the guns back out?
Coming back from lunch, we get in the vans from base camp. So we probably take 5 minutes getting from the base camp to the set. And then from that point, we hop right off of the thing and we grab the guns and everything and we go straight over.
Okay.
Especially because, you don't want to be late.
All right. So
I'm not sure about this. Are you telling me as soon as you get back from lunch, you go and get the guns? Is that correct?
Did you grab the cart, take it back to the prop truck, or did you just carry the guns?
We just carried from when we came.
We just carried. Who is we? When you say we, what do you mean? How many guns did you carry and how many guns did we carry?
Came back from lunch, we just carried the guns to the cart.
Okay.
Yeah, because we brought them there from the cart, brought them back from the truck to the cart after lunch.
Okay. Where was the truck parked? Are we talking about way over on the other side? When you park the van, is the van parked by the truck or by the cart or by the house? Where is the van parked when you come back? We don't know. We'll never know.
And then who carried what guns?
Well, she did ask who carried them a little bit, partly.
I'm not exactly sure.
I was just going to say, I bet she says I'm not sure. What the?
They were still in the socks,
You'd know if you'd carry a shotgun compared to a pistol, right?
Yeah, totally. Maybe Nicole was holding a shotgun and I had a pistol.
Maybe. Still haven't locked down anything. We really have no statement. We got a bunch of I'm not sure's, maybe if and buts and coconuts.
Sarah had two.
Okay.
Or maybe someone's holding, we all kind of just had to hold, gun belts.
When you say we, is it just you and Sarah, or are we talking about a third person?
Props, not to mention, badges and things like that, so.
You're just carrying them.
We're just all trying to carry all the shit that we have to bring every time.
Okay.
More excuses on why I don't have to be held accountable.
So...
What's more important? The guns that could kill people or your badge? And is your badge on a necklace? I mean, you just got to put it on? You got to have your gun? I don't understand how this is so hard. You have to carry the guns, and now you're saying the badges. And what else do you have in your hands? Did you bring back lunch? You got Coke bottles? I want to understand what... See, I like to have a mental picture when I interview so I can literally feel like I'm looking at a scene that they're describing. And I can't get any image from this interview other than chaos, and she had to pee.
How long would you say, so you guys went straight from the prop truck, took him to the cart?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, obviously, you have to take all these socks and everything off these guns. Who took them?
Obviously, so she's actually giving testimony. She's coaching her instead of asking, what did you do next? Obviously, you have to take them out of the socks, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say. And then obviously, you have to check them, right? Oh, yeah, I checked them. And then obviously, you didn't see any live rounds. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, why don't you just talk her through the interview because you're so incompetent that you can't draw information from her. You're just going to fill in the blanks to make it easier. Maybe you'll appear smart.
So, like I said, I went to the bathroom at this point. I'm not really sure if Sarah had started doing anything else from that point. All I remember is that I remembered the rust gun was
All I remember is that I remembered. Okay.
dirty, and so I grabbed the rust gun, took it out of the sock, and proceeded to do the whole cleaning thing I told you about.
The whole cleaning thing. Anybody know what that is? Can somebody look that up in the dictionary real quick and put that in a comment? The whole cleaning thing. I want to know what that means. Because obviously, this crack investigator knows, because she's probably not going to ask. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she'll make me wrong. Let's see if she can prove me wrong. Remember, I haven't seen this video. Maybe she'll ask. What do you mean by whole cleaning thing?
Okay. All right.
Which I thought it was pretty weird that, like, they immediately needed the gun in there, like, that quickly after lunch. Usually things take a little while for camera to get set up and everything, you know?
Okay.
Because you have a bunch of lazy, left-wing, incompetent people running around wanting to feel good, pushing their left-wing bullshit agenda instead of freaking worrying about processes, safety, and keeping people alive. And now when one of them dies, nobody gets blamed. We have incompetent investigation. Nobody's held accountable. And we all feel good, and we all feel bad about it, and we all pat each other on the back that it's not your fault. No, it's not your fault. No, it's not your fault. You're a good person. Everybody's a good person. It's nobody's fault. Meanwhile, a kid grows up without her mom and a woman's dead. What the fuck?
You clean the gun, put that last round in it, and then how long would you say that?
How do you know she cleans it and put the last round in it? Why don't you ask her instead of telling her what she did, you freaking idiot?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does the gun go after that?
Excuse me. So the gun after that walks in with me and goes to Dave. Try to show it to Dave. Dave's getting talked at.
Inside or outside of the church?
Inside. He's sitting in the pew, and I think he's supposed to be Rust or someone. And from what I understood, it was just supposed to be a shot where, like, he's sitting there with the gun ready. And then also Dave was just sitting in with it. And then I was going to come back in whenever Alec got there. But
I was going to come back in. Why did you leave the gun? What did you have to go do that made you leave? Or you called? You know, we heard earlier about how she was upset that she was stressed because they were making her do stunt jobs and other things, and she couldn't do her job. But we haven't heard anything to where she was doing these other jobs. We just heard where she's got 1,000 excuses on why she wasn't doing her one job.
Alec got there and no one called me in.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to do that last check before Alec got it because I had no idea that the gun had been handed off. And also the video village due to the camera.
Well, if you didn't have no idea, where were you and what were you doing and why weren't you on the set? Those might be good facts. Anybody else wondering, maybe would wonder what those answers are?
The crew quitting that day wasn't working, so I had no way to see in there.
Okay. So you opened the gun for Dave to do the check, inside or outside of the church?
Inside.
Okay.
It was open already because, you know, I put it in there and I walked in putting it in and I just left it open.
And what did that check consist of?
The check consists of me spinning the cylinder for Dave and telling him that it was dummied up.
All right. Did that gun go to anyone else? Was that, did it go?
See, she didn't clarify. Spinning and showing it was dummied up. How does Dave know it's dummied up? Did he take out each round and shake it? Does he know whether they have primers or whether they're whole? If they got primers, did he check to see if they had a hole? If it didn't have a primer? I mean, what does this check? That's kind of an important part. But we just glossed over it because I'm just asking questions.
Because obviously it's in the sock. Did anybody else have a handle on that gun?
After lunch?
Mm-hmm.
No, not that I could tell. Yeah.
Okay.
She's going to let her off with that. What do you mean, not that you can tell? What do you know? How many times did you leave the gun? Was it out of your sight? Where did you go? I know you went to the bathroom. That's 5 minutes on a count of 4. Was the gun ever out of your sight at any other time? Did you ever leave the cart? Were you at the cart or in the set the entire time before this shot was fired? She has been yet to lock down any type of timeline on what the hell this woman's doing, except going to the bathroom.
Did Nicole ever handle the gun? Russ's gun?
She handled it the day before, just like brought it down to me from the cart.
Okay.
So because the question wasn't asked, did she handle it that day? Oh yeah, she handled it the day before. Bad question. Bad answer. Is it going to be cleared up? Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
But not the day of the incident?
No.
All right. Do you give it to Dave, and then where do you go at that point?
I give it to Dave, and I step outside because we're about to start shooting, and I was getting, all my stuff ready.
What does that mean, all my stuff ready? What does that mean?
And also, he was...
What do you mean by getting your stuff ready?
Getting my fanny pack filled up and, getting my pockets, lined with different types of blanks and everything, because I have a pocket system where all the halves go on one side, all the quarters go over here. This is my dummy pocket, and yeah, these are my empty pockets, and sometimes I use my butt pockets if I need to. So, Sarah, usually I would just set my fanny pack up for her, even though I like to have both on me because Sarah doesn't understand the importance of pockets. But so I would set that up for her, and I would...
She makes herself seem like she's smart, and Sarah is really dumb. In fact, they're both pretty dumb, but...
start getting my pockets and everything ready.
So it's pretty common for you to put stuff in, your pants pocket, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Common to put mostly blanks in there, yeah. And then also some trash, you can't exactly just throw trash around and you eat stuff, so it's just a lot of pockets. That's why I like those pants. You can, yeah.
So you hand the gun to Dave, and then did you see what he did with it at that point?
At that point, he was just sitting in with it and not moving it at all.
Just holding it.
Just holding it.
Okay.
And his finger wasn't in the trigger guard or anything.
Obviously this gun goes in Alec's bandolier, does a cross draw with it.
Yeah. Which I was already worried about that because he hadn't really trained with that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I texted his assistant the night before and wanted to make sure that he was comfortable with that, but they said that he was fine and that, they were going to figure it out and stuff. So,
do you have that text message still?
Yeah.
See, when you hire somebody that's incompetent and not respected and doesn't have credentials, people don't respect them and don't really want to listen to them and don't want to have them teaching. She thinks she's smart because her dad was in the business and got her this job. No one else thinks she's smart. Everyone else sees her as a lazy, incompetent. She just got hired because of her dad. So they don't respect her judgment, her decisions. They don't listen to her. They don't think that she's important, and they do their own shit, and now somebody gets killed. I'm not saying they would have got killed if they did listen to her because she's incompetent. I'm just saying when you set up an environment like hiring incompetent people, everyone else stops caring and listening, and it just breaks down the whole system. Right here. Right here.
You do have that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So he was just sitting with it. Obviously, it's not in a holster.
No.
Did you see when he handed it to Alec?
No, I was outside.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that much time had gone by. I think I was outside for maybe like 10 more minutes, 10 minutes after I had handed it off to Dave.
That the incident happened?
Yeah.
Or?
Before, yeah, and then the incident happened like 10, 15.
The incident. Yeah, we're going to call it the incident. You mean before the woman was shot and killed? That's the incident.
15 minutes.
Okay.
Calling it incident is a way to distance and disengage from the fact that you're responsible for someone dying. So we'll call it an incident.
So you take it into the church and give it to Dave. Did you ever make an announcement about it being a cold gun or anything of the sort? What did you explain to Dave?
I told Dave, I said, the gun is dummied up.
Okay.
From lunch.
All right. Let's go.
Is dummied up a common term? Does Dave know what dummied up is? I've heard this term cold gun. Have you ever used the term cold gun? Is that a standard or industry standard to say cold gun? Have you ever heard Dave use the term cold gun? Has you ever heard Alex use the term cold gun? Where did this cold gun come from that I keep hearing about? She's supposed to be a detective and she's supposed to detect things. The only thing she's detecting is freaking wasting everybody's time.
Little guy right here. Where were you standing
When it happened?
Yep.
I was at my cart.
You were at the cart when it happened?
Yeah. I think we had moved it up ever so slightly from that point to a little closer. Or maybe it was back there.
This guy is either new and an idiot or is a frustrated, seasoned investigator that he can't say nothing. But the fact that he hasn't opened his mouth, he is not in there to investigate. He is in there either to witness, to evaluate, to do so. I don't know why he's in there. My guess is they wanted to give him experience to sit in an interview and he hasn't done much. So he's just sitting in there so-called learning. But he's learning from a freaking idiot. And he's learning everything what not to do. And that's the problem when you hire and promote because of what bathroom you use.
And that truck had just moved, actually. I'm not really entirely sure. But yeah, I was right there. And I was getting my stuff ready.
Was this scene eventually supposed to contain, and I'm going to say live fire, no it's not, but like blank fire?
The scene, what we had been doing all morning was supposed to lead up to the scene that we were supposed to be doing blank fire in, but this particular shot was not.
Okay. But eventually it would have gotten to that point, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. After the incident, I know that you had explained that you ran inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The incident occurred, and I kind of didn't really flinch at it even. And Sarah said, "What was that?" And I said, "I don't know." And Sarah said, "Was that the gun?" And
You're the armor and the gun expert, and you hear a loud bang, which could possibly be a gun, and you know you just dropped a gun off in a scene with somebody that you're saying didn't train and you didn't have time and all these excuses. You hear a bang, and Sarah, your boss, the crack gun expert that hired you or is your boss, asks you, what was that? And you go, I don't know. What the? Nobody goes, that sounds like a gunshot. We better get in there. Are you kidding me?
I said, "There's no way that could be the gun." And then, next thing you know, I hear in the earpiece, set medic emergency. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? And I thought it was like a popper that had blown someone's arm off or something. But I go over to the front of the church and I look in and I see people on the ground and I'm like, oh my God. I said, was that the gun? And Dave said, yeah, it was the gun. And to which I go inside, scream, and then they yell at me, and then I walk back out.
They. Who is they? What were they yelling? What were they saying? Why were they saying that? Jeez.
I asked for the gun. Dave brings me the gun.
So I asked for the gun and Dave brings it to me. How did Dave get it? What did Alex do did Alex give it to, well, maybe we'll find out. Let's see.
When you were in there, did you see where the gun was?
No.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Yeah, so I'm, everyone's kind of staring and looking at me at this point. And walking in and seeing that was super fucking awful too. So I kind of come out here. I'm like over here at this point, kind of away from everything. They've brought me the gun. I take all of them out. The first one I take out has been discharged. And it, like I told you, at first I thought it could be one of those old dummies. But it could have been a live round by all means. And once you showed me that, what they pulled out of Joel later, yeah, it kind of seemed more like that. But yeah, so I pull all of them out, and the other 5 were still dummies, just fine.
Okay. So.
Please tell me you're going to say, when you pulled them out, where did you put them? What did you do? Did you isolate them? Did it feel hot? Did the gun smell like gunpowder? Was the casing warm? Was there a primer in the bullet you pulled out, and did it look like the hammer struck it? Get some freaking details.
Dave brings it out, hands it to you. Is it open or closed at this?
Well, I'm confused about Dave bringing it out. First, she said she walked in and asked for the gun, and Dave brought it to her. So did he give it to her inside? If he brings it outside, how did she get outside? Because when she said she walked in, she asked for the gun. Why would he be bringing it to her outside? Did she just leave? We'll never know.
It's closed.
Okay. Hands it to you. Where do you inspect it?
How about where did he hand it to him? When he handed it to you, did he get it from Alex? Did you ask? Did he say, Alex dropped the gun and I picked it up? I mean, what?
It was like still really a situation to me. So I was either right there or I was right there.
When you opened it?
When I checked the gun, I'm pretty.
So we're making marks right here, right there, and we don't know. See, she could explain that because she knows it's being recorded. When you say right there, I notice you put an X by the front of the church to the right of the door. Is that about where you're at, to the right of the door? How far from the door were you? About 3 feet? Okay. And when Dave came out, he walked over to you and handed it to you there. Did you unload it there? I mean, just go methodically, step by step what happened. Instead, she asked these broad questions. She lets this kid go off on this tangent about, I gotta pee, and everybody's talking to me, and there's sticks and rocks, and it was chaotic, and I was arguing, and she goes through all this bullshit minutia, which has nothing to do with this investigation, except letting her talk.
I'm sure I got it here, and we had kind of walked away with it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we had kind of walked. Who is we? Did he stay with you? Did he hand it to you and leave?
So you said that you emptied the gun, right?
Yeah.
Where did you empty it?
She didn't say she emptied it. She said the first round she took out was the one that was fired. Did she take out the other ones immediately? Did she isolate that round? Did she immediately know that that was the round that was fired because it was hot? How did she know that the first round she took out was the one fired? She may say because it was in the right position of the cylinder, I know which way. She may give a good answer. But we're not asking the questions because we have an incompetent, worthless investigator.
I took it out, put it in my hands, and then I handed them to Sarah, and I said, go check that fucking box. I got it from that box.
And what to Sarah?
See, she hands it to Sarah and goes, go check the box. I thought you said you checked the box. Why are you sending Sarah? I thought Sarah was your boss. You didn't want to correct her earlier. Now you're ordering Sarah around like she works for you. Earlier, you said you didn't want to say anything because she was your boss. I'm confused. She may answer, well, when this incident happened and somebody was shot, I turned into a bitch and I didn't really care if she was my boss. I would understand that, but I want to know what changed.
The dummies and everything.
And everything. What does everything mean? What the hell? Why do you let people use these terms that mean nothing? because you're not paying attention. You don't know what you're doing. You don't even understand that everything and a ton of producers that nobody knows what the hell that means, but you don't really care. You don't even know the importance of that.
So everything that you
Had in my hands went to Sarah.
just handed it to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, she talked her into it. You handled everything to Sarah. What is everything? Is that the 5 rounds? Is that 6 rounds? Is that the gun and the rounds? What is everything? Did you have your key card in your hand? Because you were complaining about that was in your hand. What was in your hands and what exactly did you hand to Sarah? So basically you handled everything to Sarah, right? Yeah, that's right. What an idiot.
Yeah. Just handed it to her. And I took the gun and I kept it in my waistband after that.
Oh, so you didn't hand her everything. What the hell is everything?
Okay. You didn't go check the box?
No, I didn't go check the box. I was freaking out, and Brian, my boss, came over at that.
Brian? Who is Brian? I thought Sarah was her boss. Who is Brian and why is he the boss now? We've had 2 interviews with this person, and I don't know her chain of command on who she works for, what she's responsible for, what authority I don't know any of that because of this incompetent investigation.
And Brian took me a little further away to, kind of relieve people looking at me.
And you told Sarah, I didn't want you to leave that out. You told Sarah.
Why do you feel Brian took you away to relieve you? What was he relieving you? Did people think it was your fault? Why do you think they thought it was your fault? If you were the armorer, do you think it's your fault? Oh my God, the lack of freaking...
Check the box. What happened?
I said, check the box, and she comes over to me a little later, while I'm off.
She? Who is she? Is it a she who thinks he's a male? Is it Brian? As Brian as she?
Off to the side, and I said, did you check the box? And she said, and we also had collected the other guns, and Sarah took...
We also collected? Who is we? Who collected the other guns? We'll never know.
Those as well. And then I was like, did you check the box? And she said, yeah, there were some bad ones in there.
What the fuck is bad ones? Please tell me. They're going to get a definition of bad ones.
And I don't know really what that means. That's just what she said. And I thought that meant like 1 or 2.
Okay.
1 or 2 what?
2 days later, Sarah came to my hotel room.
What the fuck? She let her get away without asking those questions? Are you kidding me? I'm losing my mind here. I can't. You know what? I bet you 90% of my viewers, my regular viewers that have been watching me for a while, would do 90% better at this investigation than this crack investigator of this agency. The level of incompetence of this freaking investigator is really outstanding. And believe me, 30 years in government, I've seen a lot of incompetence. This woman is right up there in the top 5.
After Helena Hutchins's one of her vigils, and she came up to my room and was checking on how I was doing. And I asked her, I was like, I can't believe somehow there were some bad ones.
Some bad ones? What? The incident? Some bad ones? What the fuck is some bad ones? I'm pretty sure those means live freaking rounds. Where did live rounds come from? How did they get in that box? How many were in there? How did it get in the gun? Because I'll tell you how. She didn't check the box. She heard a couple jingings. She takes her job lackadaisical. She doesn't have attention to detail. She shook the box. She heard a couple dings. She reached in there blindly. She loaded the gun without checking each round, even though she said she did. And one of the rounds was live, and now someone's dead. She is criminally liable. Absolutely 100%. I don't care who she wants to blame, and I don't care how many times she had to go pee. She is criminally liable for this woman's death.
That box, and she said, Hannah, more than half of that box was bad ones.
More than half. We still haven't got what a bad one is. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
And she didn't explain what she meant by bad ones.
She said more than half of that box. She said more than half of that box were bad, which I mean, it's safe to assume that
if she lets her explain and define the bad ones with the word bad, I'm gonna lose my freaking shit. That's it. I'm ending the video. If she lets this woman get away with just defining bad rounds as bad, that's it. I'm done. So y'all get ready because I'm about ready to finish. I cannot freaking watch this.
live.
Okay.
At that point, yeah, it was safe to assume that those were live,
So,
mixed in with dummies.
Finally, she said live. When you say live, do you mean they're not blanks and they're not dummies and somehow live rounds got into that box? And since you pulled the rounds out of the box and loaded it, it's probably easy to assume you put the live round in the gun because somebody put it in the box. Is that right? And she would probably say yes.
when you emptied out the gun, how many rounds were there?
There was 6.
Okay.
Yeah, one had been discharged.
And do we remember what that one looked like?
No, not really. I took it out at this point, like, still pretty shocked. I'm, like, shaking just thinking about everything. But so, I take it out and pull all the others out. I'm, like, showing them to Dave, and I'm saying, like, no, like, the others are dummies. Like, what the fuck? How is that in there? And I just, like, look at Sarah, and I, like, after I said that, I was like, I don't know how that happened. They are all dummies except for one. And then I, like, looked at Sarah, and I was,
Of course you don't know what happened because you're incompetent and you don't know what your job is and you're lackadaisical and you didn't do half the shit you said, but we ain't going to know that because we have an incompetent investigator that can't lock you down.
like, go check that box right now. And I handed it to her, and so
Now we want to check the box. We didn't want to check the box when it mysteriously showed up. We didn't want to check it when we grabbed rounds out of it and loaded it in a gun on a scene. We didn't want to check it. Now we want to check it because somebody's dead. Now she's got all these great ideas about checking the box and asking what happened and try. Now she's concerned. Yeah, okay, whatever. I got no sympathy whatsoever for her. She's incompetent. She shouldn't have been hired. The people that hired her are liable, and she's liable. And a woman's dead.
it's pretty quick.
Oh, shit, I'm at 37 minutes. Holy shit. All right. I guess we'll make a part 6.